Almost to a fault, the Mexican desert lives up to its reputation for its aridness and its isolation. I spent the weekend camping in this area, and now it's time for a sunset hike. Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to this edition of Borders on Budgets. On this episode, we are in the Parque Nacional, Sierra de Organos, for a late afternoon hike behind those rock structures. Long distance hikes, but having a monkey steal from my camera bag. A kayak with an inexperienced kayaker. Borders on Budgets. For this 3-kilometer hike behind these large rock structures, so far I'm impressed with the signage. Translated as the mountain range of organs, Sierra de Organos is named for the rock structure that resembles the pipes of the large organ instruments. The park was founded in 2000 and is a modest 11 square kilometers in size. Sierra de Organos is about 200 kilometers northwest of the city of Zacatecas, and the park borders on the states of Durango and Zacatecas. Don't mind the baby crying in the background. I guess we're all entitled to enjoy a national park as we see fit. That's as low a vulture as I've seen all weekend, and actually, that's the only fauna that I've seen in my time in the park. So you're going to land on that tree? That would be cool. Well, if not, I'm still able to see its red beak. Where is it? Don't fly too close to the sun there, Icarus. Except for those vultures and a band of marauding baboons in the parking lot, these have been the only animals that I've seen in my time in the Organos. Maybe it's just as well that I haven't discovered any animals. What the park has lacked in apparent animals, I'm surprised as to how much vegetation there is. Let's see what the fuss is all about through the crack in this rock. Not bad. I am surprised with all the vegetation because in my 3 days in the park, there's not been a drop of rain, and in my 2.5 weeks in Mexico, central Mexico, it too has been arid as a bone. I'm not going to pretend to know what type of shrub this is, or if it falls into this category, but trees or plants that thrive in arid conditions are called xerophiles, with an X, Greek for lover of dry. In a sense, I'm almost glad I'm obscured in this shot so that the highlight is the rock formation behind me, known as the Table for the Indians. This is the apex of the 3.5 kilometer loop in Sierra de Organos, and it is from here where I will sign off for the extra, but the story will continue tomorrow morning from the campsite, and it is from there where I will describe how I got to the park and also what it is like to camp in this desert. In the meantime, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Borders on Budgets. A reminder, Borders on Budgets. Local people, natural sounds, not a lot of money. From the Parque Nacional, Sierra de Organos in central Mexico, thank you very much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And they've got stop in English. Oh, okay. Well, he didn't stop. And the crossing looks safe. Okay, not bad. Good morning. Buenos dias. If my hair was awful yesterday, it's worse this morning. So I get to pretend that it's as cold as it is while supporting my favorite Mexican football team. So how did I sleep over my weekend in Parque Nacional, Sierra de Organos? Well, at night it dips down to about 5 degrees, which is a little cool, but given that daytime temperatures are in the mid-20s, the variation does make it challenging. I could have used another layer. I had more than this, and so yeah, I was kind of tossing and turning. And besides, as far as my campsite goes, a little challenging with the rocks underneath the tents. So I have slept better. I have slept better in the cold, but it is what it is. And in the meantime, the surroundings, they can't be beat. Oh, by the way, vamos estripes. Now that we've established that the park is quite isolated, how in fact did I get here? So the nearest biggest town from the park is Sombrerete, and that is about a 2-hour bus ride from Zacatecas, and actually it cost 600 pesos for the return trip, so about 30 American dollars. After getting out at Sombrerete, the only other option to get to the park, because there are no buses or colectivos, would have been a taxi. And the charge, it was listed on a fare, so I wasn't getting a special price, was 420 pesos or another 20 US dollars. And I thought for 30 kilometers, or maybe about half an hour of the taxi driver's time, that was quite a lot. So I decided to hitch a ride. And after leaving the bus station and then getting to the outskirts of town, it didn't take long for me to get picked up, and it was from a delivery van, which I thought itself was unusual that somebody who was working would be able to pick me up for insurance purposes. You can't have unnecessary riders in the van. But if that itself wasn't the most unusual thing, as soon as I entered the cab, he cracked open a cold one, and so as we're driving down the highway, he's got a beer between his legs, but at least he did the courteous thing, and that is between sips he would put on his mask for COVID protection. After Senor Chauffeur Cuando Intoxicado dropped me off at one of the intersections along the highway, conveniently by a taco cart, a pink taco cart named El Bueno Taco, almost immediately I was able to procure a second lift, this time without the alcohol content, and that got me to the village, which is the closest to the park, of San Francisco de los Órganos, and it was there where I was able to find a store. Not that that itself was difficult, but to find the one store that was able to sell me the provisions that I needed for 3 days of camping, specifically food, tuna, bread, water, some fruit, and oh yes, toilet paper. Don't forget the toilet paper. But the real bonus at the corner store is what's in this pot. For about 100 pesos, or say 5 American dollars, I was able to fill it with fresh produce, including a head of cauliflower with all of its leaves, a bunch of radishes, colored peppers, tomatoes, onions, and yes, even lime. And so this delicious food I've been eating all weekend, that has made this camping trip that much more enjoyable. So, gracias por tu participación y hospitalidad a Roxanne, Yasmina y su madre Lilia a la tienda de San Francisco de los Órganos. Without them, I could not have had this food and as much fun in Sierra de Organos this weekend. So what did this cost me? Well, I mentioned that it was about 30 US dollars for the return trip by bus from Zacatecas to Sombrerete, another $15 spent at the tienda, and then camping each night was 50 pesos, or about $2.50. So for 3 days, 60 American dollars, más o menos. And many people spend even much more money to have this type of experience, especially with the opportunity to, well, isolate themselves and to detoxify themselves, not only with fresh food, but also to get away from electronics and even to get away from people. And so for 3 days, I haven't used my phone. I haven't used Wi-Fi, not that I could out here, but I haven't. I haven't used my iPod, and save for the camera equipment, there have been no other electronics for these past 3 days. And that itself, besides the hike and the experience of sleeping in the desert, is quite rewarding. Did you like this episode? That's great. Thank you very much. Don't forget to give Bob your support, a like for the video, comment below, and your subscription is appreciated. So before I decamp and head back to San Francisco Los Organos to return the pot, one final taste of the vegetables. Again, it's been 3 days, so we've got a combination here of cauliflower and rabano, cauliflower and radish. And it still has maintained its freshness and its taste. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.